Hello for the 31st Sunday in Ordinary Time. I'm using Deuteronomy 6, verses 2 to 6, and the Gospel of Mark 12, 28 to 34. And it has all to do with, am I far or close to Jesus? You feel close to Jesus or far away from Jesus? In the reality, am I far or close to Jesus? And I would like to try to do this by looking at the scribe in the gospel. In today's world, a scribe would not be really too important in our society, but a scribe certainly was important in the society at the time of Jesus. Because a scribe was one simply who could read and write. And if that person could read and write, that person was important and respected. You know, in today's society, you can even go to college and some people think you're still not too bright, or you get up in public, you can't read very well. A scribe was held in high esteem because here she could read and write. Didn't have all that formal education like Pharisees, but the scribes were important. Oh, they could put together documents. They could archive things for the state or the federal government, the government. They comprised annals and carried out, written things for administrators and governments. Became counselors. They were considered wise people. Much, much important at the time of Jesus than a tradesman or a farmer or a common laborer. So this scribe comes to Jesus and he asks, what's the most important commandment? And Jesus said, love God, love your neighbor. And then the scribe answers and says, you're right about that, Jesus. That's much, much more important than sacrificing. Today we would say that's much more important than going to church on Sunday or just giving money to the charity. And that is love God with your whole heart, mind, soul, and your neighbor as yourself. And Jesus said, and congratulates the scribe, because the judgment of Jesus is, you really are and have great understanding of what's important. And the key phrase is, you are not far from the kingdom of God. How many people do you know that you would say to them, judge them like Jesus judged the scribe? Boy, you're good. You have great understanding. You try. You're really close to God. Jesus said to the scribe, you are not far from the kingdom of God. And so that's what I'm trying to meditate these last few days especially. Because on Thursday, we had All Saints' Day. The multitudes and multitudes of people who are holy and are good and have died and are triumphantly with God in heaven or with the kingdom of God. Totally close. And Friday, All Souls' Day, we celebrate all those good people that are really good, but when we look at them or when we look at ourselves, we say we're not perfect. Yeah, I too need to be purified. I too need to be a better lover, a better giver, one who is closer to God than I think I might be at sometimes. So we believe in that purification. We call it purgatory, but All Souls' Day. And it's that time between when we die and we totally are glorified in Jesus Christ with a resurrected body. The whole idea that it was sort of when Jesus died on the cross, he lay in the tomb on the Saturday before he got his new resurrected body. We too die X day. We are somewhere, somehow, some ways, and in the fulfillment of the kingdom of God, we all will have resurrected bodies. So that one day of Jesus is sort of, we look on as, that's the day when we might get purified. But the point is this. The point is this scribe, this sort of professional person at the time of Jesus, asked that important question. What's the most important commandment? And Jesus gives the twofold commandment answer. Love God, love your neighbor as much as you love yourself. Love God, love. Love neighbor, love. Love yourself, love. That's when you're close to Jesus. That's when you're close to God. So just look at or read that passage. You can go back and supplement it or the background with that reading from Deuteronomy and just stop and say, Jesus, do I feel close to you? Jesus, am I close to you? Jesus, would you consider me having some understanding of the kingdom of God? Jesus, would you consider me close to the kingdom of God? Would Jesus look you in the eye and say, Larry, you are not far from the kingdom of God? Wow, that would delight me. Jane, you are not far from the kingdom of God. Tom, you are not far from the kingdom of God. Wish I were, in a sense, I wish I am like that scribe in the time of Jesus. Have a good day.